Here she
Yay!
is. Lovely to see you, Jessica. How are you today?
I'm fine. Lovely to see you as well. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm fine.
Yeah,
I,
aren't we all?
yeah, aren't we
Life.
all?
But I'm just gonna do a short introduction, and then we gonna come back to why you're
Yeah,
tired.
because it's a
So
special occasion why.
exactly,
So,
exactly. So welcome everyone to this live session. My name is Marcus. I am the Graveloholic. I run this fairly interesting, maybe I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that gravel kind of Instagram account. Anyhow, I figured out a couple of weeks ago that I wanted to help you guys to learn from the pros, from the experts, from the inspiring people out there, not only from me, because I don't have all the answers to all the questions that you guys have. So here I am, and this is now the fifth session and fifth week in a row, and there's going to be more coming. So keep a watch out. You can always rewatch it if you can't finish it today. You can always watch it again here on Instagram, or you can look up my links for YouTube, Spotify, and or Apple Podcasts. So you're more than welcome to check it out later as well. But today we're going to talk to Jessica Clarén. She is a true force of nature. I haven't gotten to know you that well for a very long time. We actually sort of kind of became friends over Instagram, which is kind of a thing nowadays, I guess.
yeah,
and
it is.
and we only met once in real life. But there is something about you. I think we have many similarities, and I think we're going to see some of those today when we talk. But tell me, you're tired. I just need to wonder, why are you tired?
Yeah,
Can you just tell us that first?
but first of all, I have to like reflect back on what you said. Like you inspire so many people, so you really like you just have to like acknowledge that you're a fantastic person,
Thank you very
Marcus.
much, Jessica. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
but I'm tired because I've been spending, I think, like 20 hours in my car driving down from Halmstad down to Italy for the UCI World Championship.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fantastic. But tell me, now I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. But now I think we need to talk about you qualifying. How did that go, Jessica? Can you just tell us
Well,
what happened when you tried to qualify for this?
so first of all, I know shit, but sometimes I mess it up. So I was going into, we had a grab a grit and grind race that was UCI qualifying race for the World Championships. And somehow I calculated my caffeine intake like really crazy. So I like blew out my entire system.
Wow.
Yeah, so like 2 hours in the race, I was on the peak of my caffeine intake, and that was really, really, really too high. So that was not a nice feeling at all. So it didn't go so well. No.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. But you did get a wild card, as I understand, right, from the Swedish Cycling
Yeah.
Association.
So I'm happy I got a wild card in my age
Yeah.
group. So
Which
yeah.
is super, super cool. And that speaks to that you got some legs, you got some stamina, you got it in you, right? And let's get into that story of yours. Why do you cycle, and where does that come from?
So it's like a try to make a really long story short. I started teaching like indoor cycling 25 years back, and I found my way outdoors like 10 years ago. And then I came from the training and gym business, and it's quite different from the cycling industry. And I saw that it was really hard for me as a girl. With the little, stamp on my shoulder that I was a spinning instructor to
Oh,
get into the cycling industry, and we needed to do something to like make it easier for just not just women but to enter the sport.
yeah.
Uh, so uh, I started like 10 years ago cycling, and then I started she rides immediately, like 1 week after.
Oh, wow. So, and what kind of bike was that you were using then? Road bike,
The
mountain
first
bike?
No, mountain bike. The first time, this I haven't told you. The first time I actually jumped on a bike, it was my boyfriend tried to make me do a triathlon, and I hated it. If you had never, you've been sitting on a bike and being stuck on the pedals and all that, and
Hmm.
we were living in Stockholm, so the first thing I was going down at the red lights. Uh,
Oh my Lord.
yeah, so I threw the bike away. I almost broke up. We're still together 20 years later, but so I threw it away, and then 1 year later, I started doing Vasaloppet in Sweden. They wanted to invite girls to come and do Vasaloppet. So I, like an influencer, not knowing anything about what I was signing up for, decided to go. And I fell in love with it. So I started with a mountain bike to go back to that.
Very cool,
Yeah.
very cool. And for those that doesn't know, Vasaloppet is actually a Nordic ski race
Yeah.
traditionally, but they also made now sort of summer version, which you do on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
Which I have never done, but I would love to do it because it looks super, super cool. And that nature up north in Sweden is truly beautiful.
Yeah. Do you know what I work with them, so I'm trying to make them to do a gravel race. So I think that would suit you very well.
Wow, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
So
nice little.
that's a big secret, though. So now
Yeah,
we're
no,
pushing it out. No, we're not broadcasting this at all.
no.
No.
That's cool. That's very cool. But tell me, you said 1 week later, you mentioned She Rides.
Yeah.
What is She Rides, and what does that mean? And what is that thing? What is it?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I started riding, I really found it hard for me to get into the sport. It was like we went into a cycling store and they talked to my boyfriend. That's, the typical stuff. And it was really hard. So I like, well, we can't have it this way. So I started She Rides. I've been working with Nike for so many years, and we had a really success story with the run clubs all over the globe.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do a similar thing with cycling. So I started She Rides. And the most important stuff you need to know with she is that she is both she and he in the same word. So
True.
yeah, so we think we should not exclude any gender. We should invite everybody. So in our community today, we are 65% girls and 35 men, and all those guys in between as well. So
That is super cool.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, I try to be thinking like in equal terms in everything that I do as well. And now when I started this journey, I was like, who should I talk to? Because I want to have balance as well, right, in between men and women. But it is difficult, to be honest. It's not easy. So I have you, and I have a couple of few very interesting ones coming up as well. I don't want to mention it right now, but it is difficult.
Yeah, but the entire industry is like the balance. If you look out and see all those that actually are riding or participating in cycling sport, I think we're kind of 50-50. But then when you go into the industry, when it comes to the business part or into racing, it's so dominated by men.
Why do you think? Why do you think that is? What's your take on it?
Yeah, well, so I've been driving this issue now for 10 years.
And you have the silver bullet right here.
Yeah, so I have a lot of thinking done about that, and I talk to so many people about it as well. And every time I meet a man, if I say like that, everyone is like open-minded and really trying to have an equal balance. But I think it's like so much, culture-wise, we're taking it down from like years back how it used to be. So we really need to shake it up and do a change.
Yeah.
And we have a Swedish word called kvotering. Do you know what that is?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Quotation.
So,
I mean, you
quotation.
try to balance.
Yeah, but we shouldn't do that because I'm not into that, because I don't think that is the right way at all.
Forced
I think we should
balance, I would say.
Forced balance. We shouldn't go that way, because I think that's also a mistake we're trying to do. So I think. Yeah.
I mean, I'm as mentioned, I've not been cycling that long. I think it's my 4th year now or so, and I've been trying to. Since I started cycling, I also get started looking at races on the TV and stuff like that as well. And I think I can also see that there has been a change in the last couple of years. Women racing has become more both interesting. It's become better. They have gotten more sort of bandwidth in the media and so forth. So I think there is a change, but there definitely can be more things done, right?
I totally agree. There's when we started She Rides for 10 years ago in Sweden, we didn't have separate women and men starts in the racing field, and the prize money was not equal at all. But today it changed, so now it's equal, and I feel the same. Looking at races, and there is a change coming, but it's moving so slow.
Yeah.
Since I don't have so many years left, I need to be in that change. So it has to speed up.
Yeah, but there was one thing I remember you reacting to it. I didn't see it myself, but there was
No.
we chatted about it,
Yeah.
right? That and do you want to do you want to talk to what
Yeah,
happened?
I
And
can
it's kind
do
of
that.
telling to what's going on, right, as well.
Yeah, but it's quite actually on point of what we're talking about right now. I was actually really pissed off,
Yeah.
and we were looking at the Swedish broadcasting of the World Championship, and the weekend after we were looking into Vasaloppet, as we were talking about also. There was loads of cycling actually on the Swedish television, and the commentators, they were commentating the men's race. Then it was all about performance, yeah, their gear and all that stuff.
Mm.
And when it came down to women, they didn't know their background. They were talking about like how they look a little bit and all that stuff, like really not cool at
No,
all.
that that's just such a pity that 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 happens, to be
Yeah,
honest, and
yeah.
that we have that sort of sexism. Is that what you call
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, but a little bit.
Um,
Yeah, and I think again, I think it's not like they don't want to do it like that, but they're so used to it.
yeah,
And we shouldn't talk about female bodies when it comes to sport. We should talk about their performance.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
That's that would be the natural state.
yeah,
But back to you a little bit and your story, right? Um, your if I look at your webpage, there's like this multitude of things. It says that you're an inspirer, you're a coach, you do this, you do that. There's travel, there's what you. It's so multifaceted that, and I know that there are some people that say like if you try to do everything, you don't become good at anything.
yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well, there's some truth in it, maybe, but you have to narrow it down to a few things. So you have to have your palette with, stuff you do. No, I don't think you should be like set boundaries on that. You should go and aim for whatever you want to do. If you want to like go on an adventure and try to like do everything, you should try to do it. But of course, if you want to be really good, then you have to put a lot of effort into it.
Mm,
But if you have the time, there's 24 hours every day, so you can actually invest a lot of energy into many stuff.
true,
So
true.
yeah.
Or is it that you haven't really found what you actually want to do?
So we're going deep now. Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be like yeah, or that I'm getting bored maybe if I do less. If I'm just into one thing, then I'm getting a little bit
Okay.
bored because I need to be inspired to be, my best me.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to my work, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to have like some kind of input to actually deliver the best I can.
Mm-hmm. But you're like me. You work full time and you do all those things on the side, kind of, and
Yeah.
yeah, you live your life. So how do you find balance? How do you balance all of these things? And do you have a recipe for me and everyone?
Well, I wish, that's what all of us are searching for, that recipe. I think, over this sounds so really boring, but the older I get, you better I get in actually taking decisions that gives me energy and focus forward.
Mm,
It was such a hassle when I was like 20, 25, 30. Then you can talk about doing too much
mm-hmm,
stuff. But nowadays, I make sure that I surround myself with people, that actually give me energy, don't steal
mm,
it. But that is not always so easy.
no.
And I say yes to things that I'm a typical yes sayer. I love saying yes to stuff. But nowadays, I say yes to stuff that I really want to do, that feels good, in actually in the stomach. So I think like making those decisions is a good way and a step forward in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. I think,
Yeah,
if I may add to that, there was one thing that I think about many times, and it was something that Alice Ba said. You
yeah,
know who she is, right?
yeah.
And the Swedish audience will know who she is. She used to be in the kind of equivalent to Mickey Mouse Club in Sweden, and then she became a politician. I don't know how that happened, but anyways,
We,
somewhere there in between. I don't know. I was watching a TV show and she was talking, and she said something. So she got the same question basically, and
yeah,
her answer was, "Well, you know what? There is no balance,
no,
so stop searching for it."
but yeah,
Kind of. And I think that was just so refreshing because it just opened my mind to
Yeah.
I don't need to search for the balance.
No.
It's just there's going to be some kind of balance, but it's going to be, yeah, you just need to work with it.
Yeah, but I think that was so great. Actually, I have heard that too, but I forgot about that. But that's kind of true. I think that might be also a way that I'm living, because I live every day, and whatever happens next, it happens. So I
Hmm.
adjust to it. So I never try to frame myself into like structure. Well, sometimes I need structure, but but you get it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I'm really good in following the flow, and I think that is it. But
very cool.
yeah, but she's so right. There is no fucking balance.
No,
No.
no, 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 I completely, totally agree.
Yeah.
And you touched upon one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and I didn't know how you would feel about it because I don't remember if we talked about it once when we met. But you said actually something about being an
Yeah.
influencer, or how do you feel about that? If I were to put that title on you, like if I would have said that from the beginning, like Jessica Clarén, you're the influencer. How do you feel
Mm.
about that? And how do you relate to that sort of? Because that is a fairly new thing, right? To be an influencer, but.
Yeah, it is a fairly new. So first, I think everyone is an
Mhm.
influencer.
Good point.
Yeah, even if you don't want to be, you still are in some way.
Yeah.
You impact people and make them, you know, inspire them to take decisions in ways you may be not aware of. So everyone is an influencer. And and I started blogging, you know, when the blogs were more live, 2006 maybe, and I was one of the first doing influencer work in Sweden.
Hmm.
It sounds like I'm a dinosaur. I'm not,
We're
but
the same age, probably.
yeah, probably, yeah, yeah. So and then when I started doing that, influencer was not something you wanted to have like a mark on that I'm an influencer, but things are changing, and I think, you know, going with the flow,
Hmm.
that's kind of a take on everything. I think it's cool to be an influencer as long as you're proud of what you're delivering
Hmm.
and what message you're sending out. And then I think it's really cool to be an influencer.
Yeah. And so, do you take advantage of that in kind of way, or how do you think about that yourself? Like, how do you frame yourself in that? Because it is
Yeah,
both a kind of a role
yeah,
to some
yeah, yeah.
extent.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to be genuine, but that's also like some, you know, I think you're so good at that. We talked about that. I
Hmm.
think you're like, yeah. So I think that is really, really important. And I'm not trying to take advantage, but I'm trying to open doors. So that's how I work, I think. I'm trying to open doors for the community, for She Writes. I'm trying to open doors for like other people to move forward, uh, because I can in some ways.
That's a very generous thing, and a very positive, trying to affect kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah,
very,
but
very nice.
yeah, thank you. But I think you should be nice. I think that's the way to
Yeah,
live your life.
yeah. Uh, Speaking of being nice, it just came to my mind now. Have you ever done something like pay forward, like do something for someone and then not expect anything in return, and like do this to someone else? Have you ever done something like that?
Well, um, I think I'm trying to do that all the time. You know, in my coaching, as I work as a coach as well, you
Hmm.
can adapt that to many stuff you do. But the entire She Writes community as well is, it's so important for me to see other people fulfill their dreams. So I'm really, really trying to help them out. You know,
Hmm.
give them a opportunity to maybe do a race or be in a commercial if they want that or whatever. So, well,
Tell me,
hopefully I've done it.
tell me a little bit more about that. How do you work with your community? What do you guys do? Do you meet up? Do you sort of, yeah?
We
What?
we did loads of stuff. Do you have how long do we have until like midnight? But I need to sleep. Don't forget that I need to sleep.
Yeah, you
Uh,
need.
yeah, I need to sleep. No, well, first of all, we are a cycling community, so we try to actually, you know, go out on the bikes.
Hmm.
So we have training, you know, all over Sweden. So we have local groups from north of Sweden. We have Sweden is a very long country,
Hmm.
all down to the south of Sweden in Skåne. And there we have regular training when people meet up. And we also have Swift trainings during wintertime. Actually, it was the first Swift training this season today.
Wow.
I did not participate, but I have. And then we have event, both online and offline in real life events.
Hmm.
We do camps and trips. We go out well, we have been to Czechoslovakia riding mountain bikes. We've been to Åre in Sweden. So yeah, we're trying to do, 365 degrees.
And
No, it's 360
is
degrees,
it,
maybe not
do
five.
you organize all of this yourself, or is it kind of organic from the community that people help out, or
Well, so we have we have a structure where we have a board that work very like hands-on with
Mhm.
stuff, and onto that we connect the local groups and all the members. But someone has to be like the spider in the net. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And that's you.
sometimes yes. But I have nowadays I have fantastic people that work with like stuff we do. But yeah, when it comes to like camps and all that stuff, it normally is me. And I'm a
Cool.
creative person, so I come up with all those crazy ideas when the board has to go in and say, no, not this time, Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how, like, is it all sort of membership based, or do you have people or companies supporting and helping for doing that, or how does it work, the sort of financial side of things?
Yeah, so the financial, many people think that I could live off this stuff I do with cycling. I cannot. As you said, I work full time. So it's much hard invested in everything we do.
Yeah.
But I try to finance it with bringing in big partners. So we've been working with Carlsberg, so they put in money so we could do camps and take in really good riders to actually be the instructors during the camps. And She Rides is also, we have like a local, what you call it, cycling club that is connected
Hmm.
to the Swedish Cycling Federation.
Hmm.
But we also have the community. So you don't have to be a paying member to actually be able to join our stuff. But some stuff we do are closed for the members, of course.
Hmm.
And we really believe that like the more the merrier. So we're trying to find ways to collab with everyone, more or less.
Super,
Everything
super
that,
cool.
yeah. So that's how we work.
That's that's lovely. I think that's just such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes it is. Yeah, well, always it is. It is.
Well, let's switch to something else and talk about you and your experiences on the bike. So you started riding outside. What did you say? 10 years ago?
Yeah, so 2013, I did that as like a Cykelvasan influencer thing.
Hmm. And what has been maybe it doesn't necessarily need to be the same thing. What has been the most challenging, but also the most exciting thing that you have ever did on a bike? Um,
I think actually starting to race because there's so many, I think, well, we come to female riders, but I think male riders are the same, but we're so good in putting pressure on ourselves.
mm,
So that has been my most challenging part, I guess. Actually, myself putting pressure on me, like performing. Um, uh, yeah,
yeah,
but also racing is the fun side. So, when you do a race, you have ups and downs, and normally I have one down that I always say I would never do this again, and now this is the last time. And then you cross the finish line, and 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, what's next?
but I think
So.
I think to a lot of us out there, including myself, like stepping over that barrier to or that
Mm,
line to actually put on a jersey, pin on a
mm.
number, and to stand there on the line, and to do that, I think that is a big threshold. So how can let's see, can you inspire people now? What should they think? How should they think about sort of approaching that if they want to do that? That if that has crossed their mind.
Yeah, if it has crossed their mind. But I think you're on point because I think it's not only me, it's not only you, that everyone thinks so, and that is what you have to remind yourself about. Everyone, even the pros, have those ups and downs, those doubts, those pressure on themselves. They have just different kind of tools to handle it.
Mm.
So you have to start to practice. Not only your legs needs to be strong, you need to be like mental strong as well. So um, and now we are having a little bit bad internet
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah, I think you froze a little bit now, but now you're coming back.
Yeah, you froze as well. So
Yeah.
yes,
So
I can
let's
say it again.
yeah, let's reverse like 10-15 seconds or so.
Yeah.
What on the how to inspire people to get on the bike and race, pin on a number.
Yeah, so I think you have to remind yourself that everyone, even the pros, have the doubts, the same thoughts as you have. So reminding yourself, like not only train your body to be strong, but also train yourself in being nice to yourself is like a really, really good thing you need to do.
Mm,
Um, it's that is like, I don't know if that is inspiring, but I think that is a way you need to like practice. So don't only practice your body, practice yourself as well to be nice to yourself.
yeah.
And like also like what is the worst thing that can happen? Do you really think everybody else is watching you when you're racing? They probably are not. They're so full up with what they are doing by themselves. So like, and when you cross the finish line the day after, everyone has forgot about that race.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like lower the threshold and the pressure on yourself. Like there's always a
Mm,
new race.
yeah. True.
Yeah,
That is very true. That is
yeah,
very, very true. What but about racing, I was thinking as well that when when how do you prepare for it? Because one thing that I've only done 2 races in my whole 4-year career. I only done
yeah,
4 year races, and for me the intensity is very different. So
yeah,
do you have any like coaching? Can you teach me
yeah.
how do I train to prepare for a race so that I'm a bit more both mentally but of course also physically sort of prepared for
Yeah,
that?
you will love this answer. You will probably hate it. But the best way to prepare for a race is to race often. I'm so sorry.
No, but that's a perfect good answer. I think that's probably the most genius thing I heard in a very long time.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
is because then you know
practice makes
the like
perfect, huh?
yeah, so if you practice racing, then you're aware of what happens and how it is and how different it could be from race to race.
Yeah.
And if you race often, there's not so much time between the race, so you can think so
Mm,
much. So yeah, and it can, and the pressure on yourself if you're racing often, it actually also gets lower a little bit.
mm, yeah.
So yeah, but next, if you don't race much, then yeah, of course you can prepare, but you need to like train as a race. You need to like train. You have to like create those that kind of scenario that is similar to
Mm,
racing. It could be with a cycling club or friends or whatever, but some way like that.
yeah, cool. I need to race more.
You need to race more. I think you should.
Yeah, I just wish I had the time to do it, but
Yeah.
that's a different story. Speaking about racing, what's your expectation now coming Saturday, is it?
Uh, well, actually, I have this time. I have no expectations. I'm just in for the ride this time.
Mhm.
To be able to actually participate on a world championship is like it maybe happens once in your life. So I'm trying to remind myself that I'm just in for the ride and see what comes out of it. That's it.
Is this the first time that you pull on a blue and yellow Swedish
Yes,
jersey,
it is.
or
Yes, it is. So that's why
how
also
do you feel about that? That must be something special, or?
yeah, it's super special. But since I'm picked in my age group,
Yeah.
so the pressure is still a little bit lower.
Hmm.
But it's super special. It's like something I never thought I should do.
Yeah, that's somewhat of a dream to do that, and I'm a
Yeah,
little bit envious, not jealous, envious of those that get to do that. I never think that I will, but it would be super
but you
cool.
never know. It's never too
No,
late.
no,
You know, you
no, of
could.
course,
Yeah,
and that's the beautiful thing. What they did now, I actually appreciate UCI for doing that now. That they took this sort of Grand Fondo or kind of that
yeah.
the I don't know, is it Ironman that has this sort of all age groups perspective as well? They sort of they
I think
I,
so. I think so as well. It's
So
a
I think it's cool because it opens up for such a much bigger, broader audience for people to participate and feel, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I agree, and I also think that is a step in the right direction. You know, when it comes to like change the business, I think yeah, I think it's such a good way to go. Um, yeah, really.
So you didn't, you said racing, but what is sort of off racing then? What is your sort of most incredible experience that you had, place you went to, or
Yeah,
longest
yeah,
ride or something like that? That's also could
yeah.
be inspiring for people.
You see, I'm looking up in my right corner as you always do when you go back in memory. I had many cool experience actually. So one of the coolest I actually really had was in last year in Czechoslovakia, I
Hmm.
think. So my go-to bike is mountain bike. I love trail riding, and Czechoslovakia is like Sweden, but everything is bigger, you know. The
Hmm.
stones are bigger, the trails are bigger, the trees are bigger. Everything is like Sweden, but on steroids. So
Wow,
it's like,
that sounds
yeah.
cool.
So I think that is one of my top experience when it comes to the riding. And another one is also, you know, the weekly trainings we do with Shiraz.
Hmm.
It sounds a little bit like nördigt, whatever you say in English now, but it's, you know, seeing when people actually do something they never thought they should do, like going over a drop or
Hmm.
something like that. That experience is also crazy.
That's very,
I
very
think those
cool.
two, yeah.
Cool. So I need to put she rides ride on my bucket list and also go into
Yes,
Czechoslovakia then.
yes, and see all those big trees and big stones. Yeah,
Very cool. Very, very
yeah.
cool. So to now I'm going to do something because since it is a little bit interesting, do you have a question for me?
Well, yeah, I actually I thought about when you asked me the influencer epithet, like what I think about being called
Hmm.
an influencer. So I have the same question back to you actually.
Hmm.
So how do you think about being called an influencer? Because you really grown so fast, so being so big.
Yeah, I don't know what to answer that question, to be honest. It's super,
No, it's
super
a hard one.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm I think that I'm still happy that I'm not doing this for the money.
Mm,
If I would have done that, I think it would have been a completely different story. I can understand those that do this to earn money and
mm,
make that a living, but that has never been my objective, never been my goal.
no.
I do this for the fun of it, and the feedback that I get from the audience, that sort of that is worth everything that I do.
Mm,
All the lovely
mm,
comments, um, and the appreciation that I get. I get, I guess, goosebumps now actually talking about
yeah.
it, because it that makes, I mean, my family, my life makes my day. But I mean, in addition, that is just such a lovely, lovely thing.
Yeah.
I've been extremely spared from negative
Mm,
um, things there, because there is a very ugly side of social media.
yeah.
And but I think being a male probably is that you avoid that a little bit. And
Mm,
there, so no, but that appreciation is something that makes it the whole worthwhile. The time, the effort,
yeah.
that you put into it. But I don't see myself being an influencer either
No,
in that kind
no,
of way.
no.
Even though that's kind of how people probably see me, because I have brands, they want to show things
Mm,
through me and with me. But that for me, has also been a very important thing, that everything that I do or show to people is something that I appreciate myself.
mm.
Um,
I think that
and
is
even
so important.
and even
So
though that
very
I
important.
do collaborations, it's always been that I've always had that I bought things myself. I
Mm,
have tested them myself. I wouldn't never ever go and just do marketing for marketing's sake, and I don't take money for marketing. That's so I don't get paid to do that. Um, and that's I think I can understand that people do that though, and I don't look down on other people that do that, that wants to have also money coming to the bank for
mm,
doing things, because it is a lot of time and effort that you put into it.
mm,
But I have still decided not to go across that line.
mm.
Um, but yeah, I did not expect this when I started cycling or when I started
No.
this account a few years ago. And this account was actually a community account that I started to actually get to know people when I was living in the southern parts of Sweden, in Malmö, in Skåne. So it was actually initially called Skåne Gravel Squad, this account. But
So
then,
fun.
but a year later, when we decided to move to Halmstad, it was kind of, I can't be part of Skåne Gravel Squad and I can't do this anymore. So what should I do with my account? And I was brainstorming for a week or two, and I was like, I think I'm gonna rename it and just do my thing instead.
Yeah.
And then it took some time, and it just completely blew up.
But it's so crazy, and yeah, you so deserve it. Like yeah, I think you're amazing. So yeah.
Thank you, Jessica. That means a lot coming from you, because I know you have been through a lot and done this for a very long time. So yeah, I appreciate that. Can I ask you, have you been exposed to the ugly side of social
Yeah,
media?
I have. Yeah, I have. But I think also, as you say, I think like I don't have any numbers on that if it is like that. But I think it normally happens more to female influencers than male influencers.
I'm sure it
I think,
does. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that also a part of the cycling industry, and that like girls to girls, we need to start to lift each other a little bit
Yeah.
more as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it was many years ago, but yeah, I've been, as we call it in Sweden, troll.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been exposed to that as well, but not anymore. Fingers crossed.
No. Let's not make them. Let's not make them the topic of today.
No.
And so let's end on a happier note. I usually ask the people, "What's your next ride?" But I assume that's going to be a reconnaissance ride tomorrow, or what's the plan?
Yeah. So we did a recon today, and tomorrow we're going to do another recon ride, and yeah. So that's coming up.
And how long is the course now?
130K.
130K. And
give and take.
And how much climbing is there?
So much climbing, so I don't have memorized the meters.
Oh, really? There's a lot.
No, but it's at least it's very steep as well. So
okay.
if all the criticism the last year's course got, they're making up for it this year.
Okay. I can understand.
Yeah.
So they're doubling down now on, so they don't want that feedback anymore.
No, and they will for sure not get it.
No.
Because
I honestly looking forward to it, because I don't know how much you follow the gravel scene, but there's this kind of gravel beef going on both in the US in between some certain gravel riders, but also that they sort of think that I think, the European pro scene versus the gravel privateer kind of scene, there is a little bit of friction in between there. And it's going to be very, just a little bit. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, at least on the male side. I think the women is less, but see how that plays out on the pros for the pros.
Yeah, and I also got my boyfriend was listening, so he just sticked his phone in my face and said, "You're climbing 1,660 meters."
Oh.
Yeah, so,
that's not too bad though.
No, and I think the thing is that it's so steep in
Very cool. So, any last preparations for Saturday, or?
Well, I'm trying to catch up on my lack of sleep. Going into words with the lack of sleep is not the best thing, so that's it. And then I'm trying to find a way to enjoy Italy as well. I have to have like a really nice espresso. And maybe go to Venice short like tomorrow. Yeah. You need to like tea, yeah.
Now I'm Sean that I talked to about nutrition. He said that sleep is the most important thing. So I think that being said, time is running, and you should get some sleep, and especially after that long drive of yours.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I appreciate it, Jessica. This has been a blast.
Thank you so much.
Let's make it more or a couple more times in the future. I would
love to, and hi to all your audience.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining, everyone, and good luck. And don't break a leg on Saturday.
Will not.
Take care and good night.
The same to you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.